Alrighty, welcome back. We're at it again. We're going to take off where we left off. We're on air, and I'm your man, Bad Chad, and this is my assistant, Aiden and Abedin. He's Aiden and Abedin. He's helping me. We have a pattern right here that we made yesterday. That's where we ended it. Let's go over to the other side and show you what's going on. We're on to the other side now. We've cut the door open. The door kind of flew right open for us. It was like the magic carpet ride. It just flew open for us. We've got the square stock that we cut in half right now. We've got it tacked in there exactly what we did yesterday where we left off. So we had a pattern, we had the square stock in place, and that's what it looked like. Exactly. So what's going on today is we're going to take and trace the pattern out on a piece of metal, and we're going to cut it and we're going to apply it. Aiden, you can go for that right now. Get that pattern traced out, please and thank you. And we'll go for that. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like. There's two things going to happen today. Aiden's going to trace that out and make that pattern there. We're going to apply it to the other side. And we're going to show what it looks like because we did not stop yesterday. Aiden welded that in yesterday. Well, I ground the other fender. So that's what the sill looks like from front to back. That's how it closed in the A pillar. That's how it closed it in there and went all the way back. We've got it closed in here, but there's a couple little pieces that we have to make there. They're just small little pieces that we have to cap that off and finish that. Basically, and another thing that's going to happen is while Aiden is doing his pattern, while he's doing that, there's another thing that has to go on. On the underneath, you can see on the other side, let's go to the other side. On the underneath of this, okay, we'll have the top side. This is what the piece that Aiden's making right now. We're going from here over to there. So he's welded all the seam up. He's welded that all up. He did not warp the floor. I was so proud of him. It's a lot of welding going on there, and you still can warp the floor. Even though it's got patterns in it, you still can warp it very easily. But he welded all this along there. He welded all that way along there, and he welded all the way along here, closed it in. But now what we have is, we have the bottom part. You can see the bottom of the quarter panel goes out and down and spot weld it to the inside sill. Now what's got to happen is there's got to be another pattern that's made that goes welds on the bottom of this and goes over to the inside sill and goes down and finishes it off all the way along. But that's what's going to happen to finish that off. We're on the top side of this. Let's go to the other side. Just globber off, Aiden. Wicked. Aiden's going to mess with that. Just lob that end off too, Aiden, if you like. Right, yeah, try to get your line if you can. And if you need a hand, I'll hold it for a second. I'm going to help him for a second.
Thank you.
It's quite a piece of metal to get on your line, so you might as well get that one line cut. I'm just going to hold it, so you're going to be the one doing the adjusting and cutting. How's that? So you're going to have to take the blame.
That's all right.
That's all right?
That's all right.
All right, that's all right. All right, that's good. What's going to happen is I'm just going to hold up for a second. I'll give Aiden a hand to cut that. That's fine, Aiden. I'll give you a hand to cut that. Right. If we go over this side here, we'll come back over. I got the fender ground up, got the pieces that Jolene welded in for us, got them ground off. That took a bit yesterday. Yes, it did. If we come over here, and if Jolene wants to get down, there's what it looks like. See, it's empty there. See, I need this piece here from the bottom of the sill over to the inside sill with that 90 put on it all the way along to finish it. I could leave it like that. Yes, I could, but it would not be finished. So the pattern that Aiden is using right at the present moment is the exact same pattern that's on the top. We're going to use it on the bottom, but we're also going to make a 90 on this one instead of just taking it over and scribing it to the inside floor. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Basically what Aiden's going to do right now, or what Aiden's doing right now, is making the pattern that we made. We're shoving it in and he's welding it along there. On the underneath, I want to make the 90 go along there, and it's a shape, you know, and to have something like this, long and then try to make a shape with a bend in it, it's hard to do, but we're going to make it easy. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make the bottom with a 90 coming down all the way along, same shape as the top, weld to the same piece of square stock, over and down. Aiden's going to do the top piece on this side, and I'm going to do the bottom piece on that side. So Jolene will be watching two things happen, and that's the way it's going to roll. So Aiden's going to cut this bad boy, and I'm just going to hold it for him. And it takes a little bit to get used to this, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you want to get on your line because you're going to end up cutting it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to end up playing with it and playing with it and playing with it.
Oh, she's bending over.
Keep coming. We could have cut it with our shears. You could have cut it with a zip cut. You could have cut it with the plasma cutter. You can cut it with a whole bunch of things, but we are using the blade shear to cut it. Or Aiden is. I'm going to use the other piece on this side for my pattern. So I told Aiden to cut his side, and then I'll use one to cut my side. You don't have to go to the gym. He just has to come here and cut metal.
Good workout.
It's a good workout. Yes, it is. Plant your foot on that bad boy. Just kind of holding along, trying to help straighten it out here a little bit. That's all I'm doing. Generally, you would let one person steer, but I can see the line just as well as Aiden can. That's my piece. I'm going to mark my own piece. Let's do it again. I wonder if it would be easier if we did it that way.
That's not good.
I'm wondering. What are you wondering? Same thing?
I think so, because then it won't.
Okay, let's try it. Sweetheart, are you hungry? I heard your belly. Jolene's hungry. I gotta feed her. That's not true. She generally feeds me. This thing, you can really zoom along with it if you want to, but it's what can I say? Just matter if you're staying on the line or not. Basically, that's about the issue. So as you can tell, as we're cutting this piece, it has a curve on it. And to make a 90 with a curve, it's a process. There's a couple ways, probably more than a couple ways to do it. There's probably 3 or 4 different ways of doing it. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And the reason I'm going to do it my way is because I feel like it just takes less time. And it's going to be easier. So what I'm saying is, good job, Aiden. What I'm saying is that this has got a curve on it this way, and it's got a curve on it this way. Aiden's piece, we're just going to set it in, and we're going to weld it along there and weld it along here. On the piece I'm going to do on the other side, I'm going to want this piece and then a 90 coming down. I cannot take something that's curved and put it in the brake and bend it and get the 90 and think it's going to work, because it's not going to work, because it's got a curve going on. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Basically, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And it can be done many different ways, and we'll talk about it as we're doing it. But we want to get Aiden set up in here to get this welded in here so he can get going on what he's doing, to show you what he has done on the other side. He's done a fantastic job on the other side. So basically, this is going in here. Don't know if we can get underneath that or not. Can we, Aiden? All right, let's pull that out. Got a zip cut here. Slide that zip. Slide that in there. Come on, baby. Yeah. We're going to cut a little bit off the front. Just a little bit, because it's not fitting. Just going to guess, like I always do. I don't know if I should have done that, guessed or not, but I'm thinking Aiden can weld the piece in if it's not exactly perfect. I'm thinking he can. No, I know he can. So, just a little bit more. Damn it! We'll be right with you. Just gonna cut a little more off it. And we made it long because we wanted to make sure that it went in underneath everything there in the back. We made it long on purpose. Did we not, Aiden?
Yes.
We did. We made it long on purpose.
Slides in.
Now, I can see that. See how that's hitting that? See, you got a little bit of weld going on there. I'm going to take, let's plug that bad boy in.
Yep.
Good. So when we put this piece in, this piece, when we put this piece in, this is the underneath of the door. So when the door shuts, that sounds like a song. When the door shuts, this piece, when the door shuts, the door sits about this piece right here, goes over top of this, probably about 1/4 of an inch. And we know where we're at, because when we put this square stock in, the door was shut, and we knew we could see how far up when we could see how far up that we had the square stock shoved underneath the door. So sometimes if you go to do something like this, it can be very confusing, because you cannot see what's going on. Where we had no inside sill, me and Aiden were able to lay underneath the car like we did yesterday, lay underneath the car, put the gap we need from underneath the door and the gap from the outside of the door. So there has to be a gap from the lip of the door. So the lip of the door actually comes out like this and down like this. And we knew where this square stock had to go, because when the door was shut, we could see and put this where it needed to be. That rhymed, didn't it?
It
Did. All right, Aiden's going to get his trusty welder going. And what I want to do is, as we're looking at this, I can probably take it, as we're looking at this, that fits really nice. As we're looking at this, I want, as you know, we got this fitting here, it's not over. I want this line, I want this distance here to be the same all the way along, so it looks nice. So basically what we'll do is we'll start up here, we'll connect that, and then we'll just kind of eye the distance up all the way along, so it looks good, basically. And Aiden's going to tack it on as I hold it. And then on the ends, you can see where there's a hole here. That used to be a mouse house, but we're evicting him. He has to leave. And what we'll do the exact same as the other side. We'll take a piece of Bristol board. We'll make that square, We shove a square down in there, and you weld along there, and up this post. Where it's not fitting here, but it fits the door, we're going to have to make a little pattern and put in there and butt weld that along there, and butt weld it in there. On the front piece, on the front post, you can see where we got a hole up in there. There's another most host. It's a smaller most host. You didn't pay as much rent. So we'll just make another little pattern for that and shove that in there, basically. So this is the bottom, this is the top sill of the door that goes to the inside sill. And you must admit, way back when we started these videos on making this floor, how important it was to make the inside sill. You can make the floor all you want, but you should put that inside sill on so you do not have to run that piece all the way along there to have something to connect to. We've made the floor, we've made the inside sill. Now when we put the body down on, now all we have to do is go to it and connect. If we were channeling it, we would have made this longer so we could take the body down over, or the sill would have been way down here, then we could have connected down here, the inside sill. Where we're a high boy, where we're on top of on the chassis, we did not have to make that inside sill. This is the inside sill, this piece. We did not have to make it that long. So basically what I'm showing is that this is how to do it the easy way, I guess. I'm going to get Aiden to plunk some weld on right in there, just to hold that right there. I just want to get this distance going along here, then we'll do the front, okay?
All right. Ready?
Go for it. I'm ready as you are. And as we were talking yesterday, when Aiden's welding this on, it's very necessary. It's necessary to be able to see your wire when you're welding it on. If you're putting your welder like this and you can't see your wire, you're not really going to have fun doing this job, because you're going to mess up with the welder a lot. And then what I mean by mess up with the welder a lot is you're going to miss, or you're going to weld some spot that you don't want to weld. We're just trying to make this even along here. That's all we're trying to do. Thank you, baby. Baby put the light on us. We're just going to try to make this even all the way along this part here. I don't want it up here and sag down here, then up here. I want to make it basically the same, or look the best it can. Go ahead, Aiden. Pluck one on there. Aiden's looking at his wire. You can tell because he's right in the middle. He's hitting it just perfect, and that makes me happy. Go ahead, Aiden, right there somewhere. Also, it's nice to have. I just got this in here, prying that inside sill out, so it makes it tight to the piece that we're doing. Go ahead. It's nice to keep a distance too when you're welding, like all your spot welds. And the reason I say it's nice to keep a distance is because it looks better. You know, if you spot one here, and then spot one here, and then spot one right close to it, just shows more professionalism, I guess, is all I'm trying to say. So I want it up some, down some, just want it up some right there. Go for it, Aiden. Hitting her right on the money. You can tell that's a hard weld to do, is have a piece coming down and a piece coming out. It's sometimes hard to do. We took the hardness out of it by making sure that Aiden is always watching his wire. Not his wire, but his wire. Right there. Awesome. Just looking. Let's get another one up here. Should let Aiden do his own distance, but he's doing a fantastic job. Fantastic. All right, give me another one. And he's able to spot them on nice like that because he has learned to watch his wire. I'm going to get a pair of channel locks. We got the right distance going all along there. Looks good to me. Look good to you?
Yeah, nice,
you know,
and even.
And basically that's all to me. If it looks good, what else does it matter? You know, if we're an 1/8 off, if you took the tape measure and you put the tape measure on it and it was an 1/8 off, what does it matter if it looks good. Like, I mean, it really, you have to ask yourself, you know, if we took the time I want to stick another one right up in there, Aiden, right up the very corner. Yeah. Awesome. And I'm going to bring that down. All right. Let's tack it where it's good on the edge there.
You want to line up with that one?
Well, wherever it's tight, right beside my clippers. How's that?
Right next to
my pliers, please. Now, applying this piece should be the exact same as applying any piece. You want to make sure, let's put it right in front of my pliers. You want to make sure that the metal is in the right positioning. We do not want the metal overhanging what we're doing, because if it overhangs, then I can't grind it off and make it look nice. Aiden doesn't know it, but he's got a personal grinder, and that's me. He welds her up, nighttime I grind it off. And it's a good thing.
Look good.
It works. How's that? It works. Just going to pry that down a little bit so it's all tight. Something like that, when it bubbles up like that, what I like to do is I like to just hit it again. Like when it bubbles up, just hit it again with the welder. You put a weld right on top of it. We're not going to do it this minute, but we're a little bit, see where you can see how that's over there a little bit? Just a little bit. I'm going to grind this off. Going to grind, if I grind up on it, I have a chance of the metal tearing off or ripping up. Yeah. I'll grind down on it. Can't get at that. Cool. That welder's been doing that lately. I'm spacing it for him, so he just knows right in front of my channel locks. So it looks good. Don't matter. Happens all the time. Don't know why it does that sometimes. And I don't know if I've had it explained to me why it does that. I have no idea. No. Anyways, I've got it nailed down there pretty good, so I'm going to shove the grinder in the other way. Shouldn't rip it off. I hope not. So, go ahead. Cool. Awesome. So now, what Aiden has there now is a welding project. And he's going to go every 6 inches, plop, 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 you know, in between, all the way around. He'll go up there, he'll go all the way down here, then he'll go up here. And what we don't want is no warping on the floor. There's no warp on that floor whatsoever. There's no boing, no bang, no oil can, whatever you call that. So basically what I want him to do is the exact same thing on this side as he did on that side. We'll go over to the other side and take a look. Nathan, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to actually make a piece with that right quick just to show what we did on the other side. Here's the pattern that I made for the other side. Let's check it out, see if it works, see if it works, see if it works, see if it works. Wow. So we'll just take it in there, flip it over. So what I'm going to do is I'll cut it off just a little bit, Take a piece of my marker. I've got 2 markers this morning. I must be twice as good this morning, or I think I am. I'm going to cut this on an angle first. Oops. Sorry. Gonna guess like I always do. Once you start guessing and start doing it, it becomes easier.
You got the trained eye. That's what it is.
Yeah, our trained eye. Okay, that's my piece. Aiden can plop on some welds. Right. I'm going to make a little blockade for the mouse house, and I will get back to him. So I'm going to put this on here. The inside of my marker is my pattern. The outside of the marker is bigger than my pattern. I don't think I need that anymore. Cut a little bit shy, I did. Aiden's a good welder, so he should be fine. He should be fine. I'm going to slow Aiden down for a second. All right. Put that spot right where I want to put that one. All right. You see what I'm saying? I knock this off. That spotted weld is right in line where I want that. So, this is what I'm going to do. See how I did that? Just took the corner off this. Mm-hmm. See where the weld is?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Now, can I get you to spot that on right there?
Top corner.
Yeah, top corner. Hit the weld and then hit the patch.
Weld and then I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and melt it down to it.
Right. Perfect. Now, let's do that weld there. And the reason I said hit the weld first, because if he hits the patch, he can push it out of my hands. Let's tack it down there in the corner and on that corner.
Okay.
And this is strategic because I want it to be held in place. I want it held in place so I can do this. Now, when he welds this up, I would suggest hitting the heavy metal first and burning it down on the light metal. When it comes to this, I would hit this heavy metal here and burn it over to your piece. But basically, that's what goes on, and it has to be welded all the way in there, all the way around, up there, down across there, basically, so on and so forth.
Cool.
So there's that piece. I put this piece on the other side. Just wondering if it's going to fit on this side, and it most certainly does. And the reason I put it on a triangle is I didn't want to weld it up here and get that full of material. I just wanted to angle it off. We'll got a little bit to cut off in a different shape. You're more than welcome to go ahead, Aiden.
All right.
Don't let us hold you up, buddy. We just make you slow you down.
That's right.
Yep. So I'm going to make this piece. Keep patting myself down. That's why it's good to keep small bits of metal around. Me and Jolene are going to take off today, after today, go for a drive. We're going to go to a friend's place. He actually was on the show for a while with us. Helped us out for a bit. We're going to go visit him. And no doubt Jolene will film it. You'll get to see what we're doing. And it's pretty cool what we're going to look at. And take you with us. It's nice to have Aiden in 3 days a week. It helps me move along quicker and get a lot more things done. It does. I'm going to cut that off just a little bit more on the top. Let him cruise on. And then I'm off to the other side to make another piece. All right, Aiden. Let's see if we can put this piece in here. What I want Aiden to do is to weld it down there on that corner right there. Got to see his wire. Did y'all do a good job? Second, I moved it. Go ahead.
Go.
Perfect. Connected on that corner there.
Okay.
That's all right. Worked all funny for you, did it? Now that it's held in place, now I can move it. Let's connect it up on the top. I'm going to get a third arm. And Aiden knows the difference between welding clean metal and dirty metal. And I get him to weld a lot of dirty metal. But I enjoy cleaning it up after I'm all done. We had some weld in there behind that, remember?
Oh, from the corner bits.
All right. You want to weld up? Right up there?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Get her? Acting funny, is it?
Yeah,
You're out of gas.
I think so.
You out of gas?
Yeah, she's fully open.
So you can see right there how you know when something's out of gas. You can see how it looks. It looks all fuzzy. That's how it looks. So Aiden will weld that across there, weld that down that post, and that'll be fine. That'll be fine. That'll be fantastic. So Aiden's you're gonna grab the other welder. Actually, I got another tank gas to throw on it. That way there, you're just doing the same thing. Well, you're not out of gas, are you?
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it. It could be acting funny. That gauge could be acting funny. Let's try it again. Go for it. Do a couple more welds. But that's what it acts like when you're out of gas. I've got it tight. Here, Hayden, knock her on right up top there. See what happens. I got it tight there. Working now?
Yeah.
Take your nozzle too, maybe, and clean that. Is it dirty?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Alrighty, let's go to the other side. Leave Aiden alone for a minute. I'm going to make the piece that goes underneath this sill. We have to have something that closes the bottom off, like I said, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the pattern that we had. Hopefully that will work on this. Well, but we can get another piece out of it. We can. Just going to get my gloves. Thank you, sir. Sir, did you hear that?
Sir.
The utmost respect, thank you, sir. Just going to straighten this out a little bit. Going to grab my hammy. My hammy. Aiden's going to spread everything out so he doesn't get a bunch of heat. To weld up something like that, 3 big rows like that, and not warp anything up. Fantastic. I have the underside still, so I'm going to take, you can see, come on, you can see how this has got a bend to it. This piece is going to go underneath here, underneath there, like that, and cap that all off. I could make it so it's just like that, cap that off, and then weld it like that. But I've decided I want to finish it off so it looks like that. I want that 90 coming down and run all the way along there, so that looks professional or finished. And it would be hard. I'm not gonna say hard. It'd be a fairly hard thing to do, to weld that metal going together like that, up there like that, I guess. I think this would be easier to do, just to plug the V's that I put in it. So I'm going to cut a pattern, and this is going from underneath this. You can see how the door goes on top of that piece, right? That's what that sill's about. And this shape here is the shape of the door that goes out to the lip. This piece here is the piece that closes it off. If you're thinking about the sill of your car sometimes is quite thick. That piece welds from the outside, comes down around, and goes to the inside sill. And that's what we're doing, but this is just flat and down. So the piece that I'm going to make, and to finish that off, that's what I'm thinking, to finish that off, I want to put a 90 on it. Where it's curved like that, I can't use the brake. I'm going to use the shrinker stretcher. And I'm going to add a piece, to what I have. Oop. A good stay on the line is better than off the line. All right. Had a great barbecue with Jolene's family last night. It was really good. It's nice when you eat something and you're happy eating it. You know things are good when you're happy eating it. Okay? So anyways, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it just like that. We're going to save that pattern because we're going to need another one for the other side. So let's cut this. Let's go cut it. Metal is going up like crazy. Metal has doubled. So metal has doubled. So hopefully everybody understands that the price of cars is going up. Everything's going up. Diesel fuel costs more money, so it costs more money to get your stuff. Simple as that. Basic stuff. Everything's going up. So the truck that bring this diesel, or they bring this metal to the person that's selling it, had to charge more because it cost the fuel. So the price of everything is going up. I think we all know that. Doesn't matter what it is going up. A hamburger at McDonald's is going to go up. Have to truck in the buns. Have to have the truck to truck it. You can't expect the guy driving the truck to take the brunt of the hamburger. Getting off my line there a little bit, I am. That's all right, sweetheart, I got it. I'm a big boy now. Sometimes. Sometimes I act like an 8-year-old. Sometimes. Jolene can testify to that. Can't you, baby? Yep, she said, with great confidence. Ah. All right, I got my piece. Got my piece. Going to the other side. To the other side. In my opinion, which is my belly button, everybody has one. If someone watched this build, watched the build of this 40, if they watched it, doesn't matter when it was a two-door to the coupe, or from making the floor to cutting the floor out to making the wheel wells, to setting it all down and putting it on something, on a chassis that didn't fit the car. It's pretty self-explanatory if you watched it all and kind of just, you know, listen a little bit and just watch. Basically what I'm thinking is that anybody could take any car of their dream and make a floor for it and set their car down on top of it and apply it to it. So basically all we've done is made a floor, set the car down where we want to set it down at, and that's by the A pillar and the B pillar, set it on where we want to set it, no matter you're channeling it or whatever you're doing. If you follow what I'm saying about the inside sill, make sure you have something there to connect the car to. I think anybody could take something and do the exact same thing we're doing. Do the exact same thing. And if you have to watch it a couple times, so be it. But I feel like anybody could make a hot rod or make something that looks like that on the inside. Like everything is brand new on this car on the inside. It's the outside that does not look brand new, but everything on the inside, the wheel wells right to the floor, to the back, to the sills, everything is brand new. And I feel if you watch what we did, anybody could do the exact same thing. Everything was made with the Bristol board. Traced it onto sheet metal. I, copied the frame with a skeleton of square tubing. No big deal. Anyways, I've got this piece here. This piece here is going to go in here like this, right? So we've got an inside sill where this is going to go to. I would not weld this on there like that right now, and the reason being is I've got too much metal coming here, so I'm going to have to, shave some of it off. Yes, I am. Also, I got the inside sill is not fitting the greatest in a couple places because of the warpage of the metal. Like we've got, when that's welded up down there, that metal has warped up a little bit. It's got tight there, it's got loose there. I will pry it all out with a handy bar. I can take a handy bar and pry it out to wherever it's supposed to fit on this piece here. But basically what I'm going to do is I want that 90 that goes down. That welds like on the bottom of that sill there. I cannot put a 90 on something that's shaped like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut myself a piece of metal. I might even cut it to that, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to cut myself a straight piece of metal. I'm going to bend it on the brake. I'm going to make a 90, probably less than a 90 because I want, remember, if I have the metal that goes flat here, it goes out like this and goes straight down. If my metal that I want to connect to is out a little bit, well then I have to beat that in. I'll make less than a 90 so it comes out and goes back this way. So I have to push that in and make it tight. I hope that makes sense. And if I make less than 90, it'll point towards the metal that I got going down there I want to go against. You can take this piece, you can cut a piece of plywood, this shape here, cut two pieces of plywood, clamp it on this side clamp it on this side, leave a 1/2 inch sticking out, then you can take your hammer and go bump, 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 all the way down around, and you will bend, and you will be able to bend that shape a 1/2 inch. You'd have to add a 1/2 inch to this, obviously. I'm just showing what I'm saying. If you took like I said, you took a piece of plywood. I got a piece of plywood there. I'm not going to do that, and the reason being is I find that would take me a bunch of more time and effort. Plywood, saw, benches, all that stuff. I'm not doing that. But you could. What I'm saying is you could take that plywood, trace this shape on it, cut 2 pieces, clamp it here, leave your 1/2 inch, whatever you want, bent, and then you could take your hammer and knock it all down, and your piece of metal would stay like that. You could fit it in there and make it as one piece. Yes, you can. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to cut the plywood. I don't want to take the time. I want to make the piece and apply it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of metal, bend it in the break, make a 90. Then I'm going to take my shrinker stretcher and make this shape. Vice grip it on, spot weld it on, and then I'll have it. My 90 is going to come up like this and over top of this. So when you look underneath the car, you're actually there's going to be a seam where the 90 starts here, goes over, and then comes down. This part is going to be on the seam, but that does not matter to me. Like it should have a drain hole in it anyways, so water can seep out of it if any water gets in it, which I don't think will. But that's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to make a 90 and apply it to this, so then I can put it against the car, and then I can spot weld it along the bottom to finish off the sill look. So there's many ways you can do it, but the way I'm going to do it is bend a 90, apply it to that, and then put it on. I'm not going to take my time, cut plywood, and do that. You can if you like. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. I would never begrudge anybody of that. I would never say that's wrong or if that's right. And I hope you feel the same way with what I'm doing. Whether it's wrong or it's right, I think it's going to be fine. And I guess basically what I'm saying is, it's for me, how I'm thinking is, it's less tools. It's going to be quicker. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but it'd be quicker for me to bend a 90 on a break than it would be to me to get a saw out and get a bench out and cut some plywood and cut another piece of plywood, clamp it all together and beat it with a hammer. I think it's quicker to do what I'm doing. Got some sharp edges on it. So this is the shape that I want. This is going underneath the sill over, and I want the 90 to go down. So let's take a measurement. Don't even need to take a measurement. I could use that. I've got some metal there that I can use. Just so hard to cut sometimes, you know. I'm going to save that. What happens is I got an piece of 18 gauge, and I've got a piece of 20 gauge. I'd like to use the 20 gauge because it's just easier to cut and easier to deal with, but my brain tells me to use 18, and that's what I do. I use 18 full time. That's the length of piece I need. The width I want is over here. Just need a ruler. That's my pattern, my ruler. Aiden, you having a good time?
Yeah, I get to do well. Having a blast.
Awesome.
Getting better every time.
Getting better every time?
Think so.
You got to like that, man, when you're getting better every time. That means you're becoming good.
Yeah.
You're getting better every time. You're becoming good. That's the piece I need, or I want. I would have cut it with my kettle shears, but they're down and out, so I'm going to zip cut it. Could cut it with the plasma cutter. Could do that. Just going to cut with zip cut. And the reason being is, with the plasma cutter, Aiden's got the air rate at the present moment. The plasma cutter, I'd have to get it lined up, geared up. My line is not right now because it's a big piece of metal. So I'm going to cut it with a zip cut. So I'm going to get Jolene on the old internet and get me a set of them shears. Earn 'em, baby. Whoop, whoop. Baby's going to get me a set of shears. Good cut. Flap the wheel it off. It's probably sharp. When I bend this, I find that the brake doesn't give me a nice crisp bend, and I very well could take the grinder and run the grinder down that to give me a brake mark. And what I mean by a brake mark is to relieve it a little bit so I get a nice tight bend. I don't think it's going to matter much on that. Whatever holds it out is going to hold it out. But what am I going to say? I don't like cutting the metal whatsoever. I'm kind of so weird that way. I just don't like taking anything away from the metal. What I'm saying is the brake kind of gives it a roll bend. Like I could put this ruler in the middle of that and then take my zip cut and run it through there to give it a relief so it would bend a little easier. And sometimes I just feel like for me to cut the metal and to relieve it that way, I don't want to. I don't like the idea of making it, I don't like the idea of cutting it, I guess. But it does make a nicer bend. but I'm hoping that we'll be able to bend it if I can. And the reason I'm mentioning that, because if this shear does not hold it, I'm going to have to relieve it and bend it if it does not do what I want it to do. And that's what I mean by, because 18 gauge, I'm just eyeing that up in the center. I'm nothing but putting my eye on that, and I'm saying that center. And if it's off a little bit, it looks good, basically. Looks good. Jolene looks good. Fantastic, actually. Fantastic. Jolene looks fantastic. She's the apple of my eye. She's the apple of my eye. Why does that look a little bit not? Hoping I can bend that. Remember, I want less than a 90. See what I mean by less than a 90? Like it's not complete 90. So when I apply that to my piece, this piece is angled towards the car. So if I apply this piece to that piece, when I put it against the car, this is angled towards the car. If I make it a complete 90, or more than a 90, it'll be angled out towards the car. And I want this piece to go back and hit that inside sill tight. So, we have this going on. So this is basically what I'm saying, is I have this piece going underneath here. If I 90'd it, it's not going to happen. You know, you're not going to bend that. Put that on there, right? If I 90 that, it's not going to fit the inside sill underneath the car. So this piece here has to go that shape. Turn that around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my shrinker stretcher, and I'm going to make this piece have that shape, and then I'm going to apply it to it like that. I'm just going to push it on there and go spot, 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 spot. And then I can take my piece and shove it up underneath there. That's basically all I'm doing. Can't see it hurting anything. Can't see it hurting anything. That's just what I come up with. I've got... I'm going to grind that down a little bit. I'm going to use that handle, hopefully. Yeah. Just going to set that there. I'm just going to grind that down. What the hey? Hey. I'm going to bring something else in, so if it doesn't fit, then I'll use that. How you making out, Aiden?
Doing good.
You loving it?
Yes.
All right. Looks good, I can tell you that. Looks good.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I'll shave it down later. So basically what I want to do is I want to make this piece, this 90, fit this shape on the inside so I can apply it to it. And this would be my underneath sill. So I'm going to apply that on there and tickety boo 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 boo. So I want to, if I'm going to I want to stretch that. If I shrunk it, this thing right here, and you can see if you come over here and take a look at this, you can see that the teeth are apart. This is how I tell whether I'm using the shrinker or the stretcher. You can see that the teeth are apart. So what happens is when that comes down, or when I apply that down, it pulls them teeth together. See that teeth together? See that? Well, what that's doing what's happening is that them teeth are grabbing this sheet metal and pulling the metal together. Basically all it's doing. I know it's hard to believe, I know, but that's what it's doing. That is shrinking. So it's pulling the metal together, so it's making it smaller. So if I put that in there, basically it'd be pulling it this way. It'd be pulling this together. What I want to do is I want to stretch it and open it up so it fits this shape. So I'm going to go to this machine because I know its teeth are together. So what's going on with this piece, when I pry down on this one, the teeth are clamping the metal and then pulling it apart. So basically what's going to happen is I'm just going to grab one edge of this bad boy and I'm going to, doesn't matter which one, because I'm going to apply one or the other. It's still, which end do I want? Bum, 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 bum. So this end will be coming down. So this will be coming down. Let me think here now. Just put it in like this. Now, and you don't have to push very hard on this thing because it's going to start, it'll start stretching. I'm just going to bring it out a little bit on the teeth here a little bit. You can see it grabbing and it'll stretch that. You can see that move already. You see that move? Just very little tiny bits. And just stretching the metal. It's going down on it. You have to remember this was straight before I put it in there, so I can prove it to you. That's what I'm trying to say. Get in there. Would have been nice if it was out there, but it's not, so we deal with it. Ouch. I don't think it's necessary that, like you could actually take this piece and cut it. If you know, maybe cut it, you could take and slice it and bend it. But now you can see what happened there. See what happened there? How I stretched that. So it grabbed this sheet metal, pulled it apart, which made it go like this. So now, what I'm thinking is I have, let's turn this thing over. Now what I have is, I have something that I can apply in this bad boy. I want to start it off so it's nice and tight and right, all the way along that edge. He even got it too much, but that's okay, because what I'll do is I'll just tack it on, and then pull this back too. But you can see how I've made that shape. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get a pair of vice grips. I will vice grip that on there, tack it on there, and make sure that goes tight all the way along that seam, right up to the front. And then I'll have my piece that I can shove in like that. And then this piece will come down on the inside sill, and I'll weld that on there. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to have is exactly what I want. Got that 90 coming down. Haven't got to apply. You can see I got that 90 coming down there, and I'll be able to apply that just like the quarter panel and finish it all the way off to the front. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to take a pair of vice grips. Oh, don't trip over the running board, sweetheart. I'll grab the vice grips and apply it on there, or the C-clamps, just to show how I'm going to go about it. Like I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so you can do it. You can do it with a piece of plywood if you want to. You can. But this is the way that I've decided that I wanted to do it. I come in here with a C-clamp. I'm going to C-clamp that together. clamps are nice. The shrinker stretcher is nice for certain things, like I don't have to cut that. You could cut that. Like I said, you could take a piece of plywood and do it that way too if you want. There's many ways you can skin a cat. But where it's up underneath like that, you're not going to see it. It's not something that, to me, matters a whole lot. Get it in there nice and tight. Making sure it fits right, they say. And continue on. You can see how that's fitting that now, all the way to the end. I'll just go tack, 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 tack on the top. Just space it every inch or so really quick. And then I have my piece made for underneath. You might have got both of your pieces of plywood cut by now, but you would not be finished. Anyways, that's basically how I'm going to do it. You can see how I've got this leaned out this way a little bit. So you can see how it's leaned out a little bit. It's not a complete 90. So when I go to push that against the car, we know that my 90 is going to go against the inside sill because it's angled that way a little bit. If I angled it a complete 90, I might not get it tight. Or it's just a little more help, that's all. But that's basically what's going on. We'll go over and take a look what Aiden's doing. Did we bring the computer up? We bring the computer up. You had her shirt today. So there's our piece. I'm just going to go along, spot that, put a couple marks in that, and apply that piece on the underside of that. I think that's a great job for Aiden. Well, I might end up doing it. But let's go over and take a look and see what Aiden's doing. You can see how he's got it spaced. He's pretty near close time for doing 4s, right? Warm, but no real heat. That's a good thing. So pretty well ready for 4s now. And when he starts doing the 4s, that's when he's going to start using the air hose and making sure it's cool. Aiden's cool, and that's all there is to it. And the reason he's cool is because he likes messing with hot rods. Who knows? Let's go down and give away a hat or a shirt. So you know what's going to happen on this part. I've got that piece. You want to stick it in on the underneath side to close that sill off and complete it. And it'll look fantastic. Fantastic. It's going good. The car's really looking good. It's making me happy. Making me happy. So stay with us. We will be somewhere. We're going to take off tonight. Maybe get a room. Maybe we're going to get a room tonight. Woo-hoo! Room with Jolene. She's so fine, my queen, Jolene. We're going to take off and go look at something. A friend of ours will film it while we're there, and then we'll let you know what's happening, what's not happening, because that's the kind of people we are. It's a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia. We had a little rain last night. The lilac bushes are coming out. We got a big-ass lilac bush on our property. That's lilac, isn't it? $369? $361. I think Dodge had a 361, or Plymouth. 361 comments. We want to thank you very much. Howard Quick. Running board looks sensational. Thank you, Howard. Thank you very much. And I know you could do the exact same thing because it was a pretty basic thing. And Jolene looks sensational. You do, baby. Anyways, thanks for coming back. Thanks for watching. If you do not comment on the video, you cannot win a hat or a shirt. And Howard Quick, you want a hat or shirt of your choice. Things are going along quite nicely with the hot rod. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get the old hot rod welded up, get everything, get the hood going up and down, get the fenders in place, get the running boards done, get everything welded up so it's basically there. And I'm not sure. Don't know what I'm going to do. Jolene might talk me into something that don't know yet. You'll have to come back and find out. Have a good one, everybody.